Hey guys, Jay here, and in this video today I want to first of all showcase a little bit on this current version of the character. Okay, we are already facing the prevent recovery above 50% monster, which is an absolute bitch for this build. Well, but the thing that I'm going to try to show you is this current version that I'm using with a shield and a scepter. And I think this is probably the best version for this build if you want to do like mapping, for the simple fact that first of all you are much tankier. Second, you also can use shield charge. That is very big actually. That makes a huge difference in terms of like just mapping overall. I would not do that for now, Alva. Because it will take a little bit more time. Let me see if there is anything that's free, because normally for this particular strategy that I am running, the outer is actually super rippy, but only for this particular strategy. And you will see at the end of the map, if you already run essences, you probably could have guessed what I am trying to do here, which is I am going for the node on the skill tree that makes the map boss have an additional essences for every like essence monster that you have killed in the map. And that can make the boss potentially very tanky and dangerous. Okay, the boss Eldritch Minion have 10,000 armor. That is free. I'll take that. But normally if you don't run this, I would just choose, like, it is doable. Most of the red outer mods is doable, except for the ones that give you too much less fire resistance, and also the one that prevent your recovery. For example, I don't like this one, because I'm not capping my resistance without the flash, so I don't really want to take that one in particular. Let me try to clear. As you can see, with the shield charge, we can move around much smoother. Is there any more essence monster here? Okay. I think this map, there is actually not a lot of rare monsters. I am using the scarab to make all rare monsters in the map becomes essence. And this map seems like we are not having a lot. So the boss is not going to be as hard. But the highest amount of essences I have done on a boss, which is on Jungle Valley as well, the highest amount that I have done so far is 15 essences. And the boss become pretty crazy. But we just have like enough tankiness and enough damage to deal with it. So yeah, let's just put down a scroll of town portal here and just wait, because we need to wait for the boss to spawn and then we can deal with it. I think this guy is going to be very easy because he is technically yeah, not too many essences. Yeah, as you can see here, 2, 4, 6, 8, only 8, so not a big problem at all. There are 2 bosses, but only one got the essences. The double boss one is not getting the essences, sadly. If we could have had, if and only if, the 2 bosses modifier is going to give both essences with the Atlas node, that is going to be much more profit, but sadly it's not the case. So yeah, as you can see here, this guy, he is dying. He is very tanky still because a lot of essences, each of them give the boss more tankiness, more damage, speed, and random modifiers. Sometimes the worst one is probably the regen. I'm not sure which of the essence it comes from, but there is one essence that makes the boss have like pretty good amount of regen. And in that case, we'll need to put Frostbomb in the slot of Righteous Fire here, and still want to get Righteous Fire, so you can put Righteous Fire on Flame Dash, so you can have Frostbomb trigger, and you can still turn on Righteous Fire for more damage. But in this case, the boss is not having that, so I do not need to use the low-level Frostbomb that I'm having here. It's just for the 75% reduced regeneration. Alright, so let's talk about the setup a little bit. Basically, we are using Dark Seer as the main weapon, because it gives a lot of damage and a lot of tankiness. Like, well-rounded, best in slot for this build, because you need both damage and tankiness. The shield is going to be Dawnbreaker. Right now, there is a very strong shield that is Valen. But Valen has a problem that it does require you to actually invest into block. And this character, sadly, we cannot afford really the points in the passive skill tree to invest into more blocks. So it is like impossible to make Valen like a strong option in here. So I use Dawnbreaker. Good old Dawnbreaker, just give a bunch of tankiness to the build. And yeah, it is just still very good. So I choose this shield. And it allowed me to have momentum, faster attack, and shield charge. The 6-link Ice Nova Frostbow changed to the helmet, which is the same as the dual scepter setup. I will leave link to the 3 version of this build, the scepter and shield, which is the one I'm showing you, which is the latest one, the dual scepter, which is the kind of middle version in terms of tankiness and damage balancing, and then the annihilating light, which is the squishiest one out of the 3. It is still tanky, but it's squishiest out of the 3. And then it has the most amount of damage. So yeah, I will leave the link to the 3 versions in the description. This helmet is not that hard to make. I was lucky to make this helmet, by the way. But this kind of helmet is not hard to make because technically you don't need like a insane amount of life or like very good roll in here. What you are looking for is just the Socket of Gems deal 30% more damage on, and you can get that from the essence. It is the essence of horror. You use that essence on the Shaper based helmet, so it needs to be Shaper influence. So what I use here is the Giant Slayer helmet, which is the highest armor base helmet currently. I bought this one for 20 chaos as a base from trade, and then I use 1 single essence on it. It already hit hypothermia. If you're unlucky, you will need to try a couple of times. I think hypothermia is the best one here. You can settle for Immolate level 20. That is going to be good. Concentrated effect is somewhat okay as well. But I don't like it as much. Hypothermia is probably the best one. I'm going to get hypothermia here, and then we look at the rest of the mods, see what else we can craft into it. This particular one, I am very lucky to hit it with 1 essence and then 1 exalt slam. The slam modifier is actually the tier 1 life, you know, believe it or not. So that is very lucky, but you don't need the tier 1 life here to survive. I have been using this helmet, which I made with 3 essences. So it hit hypothermia on the 3rd try, and then I just craft life on it. That is it. You don't need much, right? And so yeah, that is the 6-link for the second 6-link for Frostbolt. And the rest of the setup is still the same. We still use the items that is required for Cast and Stun. We still use the Legacy of Fury for Scorch for more damage, Brassstone for tankiness. Everything else is pretty much the same. I would like to stress this thing one more time because people always ask about it. You don't need Hinokora's Death Fury, Forbidden Flesh, and Flame. If this 2 jewels is anywhere like less than 10 Divine for both of them, I think that is a very good price. Maybe 11, 12 Divine is okay. But if they are more than that, let's just say they are 15 Divine for 2 and above, it's not worth it. The thing that these 2 jewels is giving you is basically faster clear speed. It doesn't affect the function of the build. You will be a little bit slower in terms of like clearing maps or clearing simulacrum, the content that you do. And but that is it. the build will still function. It's no less tanky. The real DPS from the skill is not increased by this one. This is just a explosion, the random chance to explode, so you basically just randomly clear a pack of monster or a boss a little bit faster. And basically that is the purpose of the jewel. If it is cheap, use it. If it is not cheap, you don't need to use it, right? You can either sell it for profit, or you can not buying it if you cannot afford it in the first place, right? It's not going to affect the performance of the build like significantly. It feels nice to have an explosion, a big ass explosion, though. I do have to say that. The second point that I want to stress before I end the video is you do not need the exact number for Elegant Hubris over here. It is not required whatsoever. Just try to get one, use the website, try to get one with Frenzy Charge on hit is probably the best roll, but you get any combination like 2 nodes. I would like to say these 2 nodes, you should want something like Life, Resistant, Fires of Spell Damage, Frenzy on hit, Damage per Endurance Charges, Armor per Endurance Charges, increased armor. So there's a lot of stat that can be useful for the build. You don't need to have the exact numbers I have here, because even this number is not even the best one. I purposefully did not buy the best one when I create the character, and I have been using this one since then. The best one is giving me frenzy charges and double damage, and also another damage for 2 points in here, and also life in here. That is, I don't remember exactly a number. There's no way I can remember exactly a number. But when I search for it, it is there. It is there, right? So someone out there might have the perfect jewel for this one, but it's not. It's not the end of the world. You just try to get like 2 nice bonuses on these 2 nodes, because they are free to get. They're just 1 point away from where you are traveling already. And maybe this one as well, because it is pretty efficient to get as well. The traveling node here is the 5% life, which is nice, right? So those are the things that I want to mention in this video. Just want to update you guys and show a little bit of the gameplay for the last version of this build. For now, it is going to be the shield and sceptre version, which is probably the best for map clearing, because you have more mobility and you have more tankiness. I will leave the POE for all 3 versions in the description. They are all going to be the version that my character has in-game, real stuff. So yeah, if you want to look for a particular version, and there will be a description for it, which kind of content I think it is best for, and yeah, those kind of good stuff. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this build if you want to, you know, make a character on this setup. And thanks everyone so much for 3,000 subscribers. That is another very big milestone for me personally, and I really appreciate it. And yeah, enjoy POE. See you next time. Remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Peace.